Few
I came across
pastors
this video
preach
and I was
this.
like, I think my audience needs to say this. I have a couple of comments after the video, so let's listen attentively.
Pastors preach this.
In a car. You used to give your boyfriend sex in somewhere under the wall. Today you are married. Under the wall, I mean the foundation. That's what I'm trying to say. What are you talking about? All these things are happening in the church. There are women here who used to satisfy their boyfriend, but then they are penalizing their wives, their husbands. And I read somewhere that when you deny a man sex, you will reduce his age. Only a man can understand what it takes for the man to have the feeling for sex and is denied. Insensitive man can push him into adultery. The only advantage the Christian ladies do that is that some of them know their husband will not go anywhere. But no, punish you. God himself will step into the matter because you are taking advantage. Yeah? Don't take somebody's leniency to be his foolishness. It's not an easy thing. Anyway, a woman in the Bible, defraud ye not one another. He said, when you marry, your body is not for you by your husband. It means that the day you marry, you don't own your body again. Today I went to work, I'm tired. Did I go to work? Somebody was pregnant and he said the husband is disturbing her with sex. I say, you are the one that is pregnant. Is the man pregnant? There is nowhere the Bible says when you are pregnant you can't have sex. So the 9 months you are pregnant, where should your husband go? I even learned from a gynecologist that the more you have sex in pregnancy, the easier you can deliver. Some of you ladies that you have never given birth, but you say yes. There's a lady that say yes, and so on would that.
Papa, you go home, you take care of the kids, you are tired. And then he comes in the evening demanding for sex. At least can't you say today that you are tired? So we should reschedule it another time.
The answer to the question is the way I'm going and I'm coming back. I'm asking your question. If I go New Living Translation, the husband should fulfill his wife's sexual needs, and the wife should fulfill her husband's needs, both of them sexual. The wife gives authority over her body to her husband, and the husband gives authority over his body to his wife. And God knows that you have gone through stress. Do not deprive each other of sexual relationship irrespective of the stress. It is not there. The stress is not there. So you see, I was questioning is a sign that you still didn't pick what I said. Selflessness. The stress is there, but because I want to please you, that is why I gave you the scripture. I read that scripture from almost every translation. It is in your book, and I show it to you. Look at what the Bible says. Do not deprive each other of sexual relationship unless you both agree to refrain from sex. Look at the Message Bible. Watch the Message Bible. Watch this. Abstain from sex is permissible for a period of time if you both agree to it, and if it is for a purpose of prayer and fasting, but only for such times, not closing work and you are stressful, only for such times, then come back together again. Satan has an indigenous way of tempting us when we less expect it. Now the reason why you shouldn't use the work as an excuse is that he can be tempted. And now again, let me talk to you as a man. When the man's sexual needs arise, it is a drive God put in a man. It must be met. So in marriage they say to avoid fornication. That is why we push to marry. Now let me tell you a second thing. Let me show you something. Everybody listen to this one. One day God will bless you, and if God has blessed you, now you can have a house with a house help. There are some things another woman can do for your husband. She can cook for him. She can wash his things. She can iron his things. But that one, no other woman can meet that need. In the context of God's instruction, you are the only one anointed to meet it. I know some men, when their sexual appetite comes up and you deny them, they can have pain in their abdomen for a very long time. Tomorrow, I don't know. I had to say, "Somro na abesha no de na." Mommy, it's a lot, and you see, we have people have the religious and the hypocrisy in the church has not let us become real to people and tell her what I'm preaching is not an easy thing for me to preach, because maybe somebody sitting there insulting me. Because all the religious people, they can be watching and insult. Because to you, don't even talk about sex in church, but they do it. Because if you look at Jesus, he used the word hypocrite more than any other strong word. You hypocrite, you hypocrite. So there are people watching with a religious spirit. They will be offended I'm talking about sex, but they are adulterer. So the religious spirit makes you do a set of rules to meet God, but they are not spiritual. I have not lost my mind though. This boy preaching this thing, by the grace of God, I'm a very spiritual man. I wish I can give an excuse or validate what we're talking about. So my friend Richard Robert, who was married for 14 years, said that all marriage problems are to money and sex. And one of the major things is what you just asked. This question you just asked has destroyed more marriages than any other thing. They won't tell you this is the reason why they are backing off. But as a result of denying him sex, you can put a man in unforgiveness, bitterness, resentment, until the spirit of adultery step in.
But looking critically at what he said, to a great extent he makes sense. Talking about the hypocrisy of Christians, of course, that is a fact. And someone would say in the comments, oh, how come you left? Instead of preaching Christ, you're preaching this. Probably that was a marriage seminar. I came across that from a Christian blog on Instagram, and I was like, I think this is also something that needs to be discussed, because over time, at least I would say since I've been making commentaries for someone that gets to see things that happen on social media, I think I have made a lot of commentaries about issues of maybe infidelity and things like this that happen in marriages, and also most especially in churches by pastors themselves. And him speaking about this concept as a pastor himself makes a whole lot of sense. Now, that part where you get to talk about selflessness, I think for there to be an agreement between two people, there has to be an inquiry. So for example, maybe I feel tired or something, because this is just looking at it from the side of the woman. Also, it could also be on the other side of the man, where the woman is demanding for rampam and the man is more like, okay, I'm tired or something. So for there to be an agreement, there has to be an inquiry. There's no automatic agreement. So still based on scripture, if the woman herself is saying that, oh, because I've been taking care of kids or something, I'm tired, it's now left for the man himself to consent to it, more of like agree to that, so they get to have an agreement, or maybe he gets to disagree. But even when he gets to disagree, if it's in the context of the woman's question, then it's now left for him to, if it becomes a consistent thing, to build up to the spirit of adultery, he says, because of course in Christianity, everything that is negative is a spirit of this, spirit of that. And if you remember the story of the whole Prophet Suddenly movie, if you had watched my review on it, that was what happened to the person that played the character of Prophet Suddenly, that he was also demanding his conjugal right, I would say, or would I say a rampam from his wife, and then she kept turning down that, and before you knew it, he fell into the situation that happened in the movie, which led to the plot of what we saw happen in the end. So when I saw that, I was like, I think this is a conversation that we don't get to have most times. I've never been married before, so there are a couple of things I may not understand, but those themselves who are been in that situation would understand. So 𝐼𝐻𝐻𝐻 Victor said, surprised that he ended that way. If a woman is tired, a covenant marriage, like he said, should be based on love. When a woman notices she has given a lot of excuses, she adjusts too. Marriage can't be run properly by compromising, but rather compassion, and proper understanding. Interesting. And someone says here, with all due respect, mighty man of God, the preaching needs more context. Sex is essential, and perhaps couples need to prioritize their time wisely. Of course, this can be challenging, especially with the economic situation at hand. This should be an ongoing conversation. Experts can also provide some great strategies to help out, and lots of prayers. Interesting. So when it comes to this particular context, you have to be someone that has been married before to, have a proper understanding of the real situation that gets to happen in marriage. But some of us might have experiential knowledge of observing and seeing how our parents get to live as well. Most times, I think in the family setting, especially in Africa, I think to a great extent the women are more into the task of not just looking after the family, but of course making sure the kids go to school and then taken care of, well fed and all that. And the man, of course, to a great extent is always out there making sure that there is money on the table. So sometimes, of course, the man gets to work his ass off, the woman gets to work her ass off as well, in keeping a very loving home or a very vibrant home and all that. So there could be on both sides as well when it comes to feeling tired, feeling fatigued, to getting to rampant. But of course, like I said, before there has to be an agreement, there has to be an inquiry from either both parties at the same time, because they feel the same pressure, or from one who feels the pressure and then makes the inquiry, and it's left for the other person, the one that an inquiry is made of, like, okay, please, can we not do this today or something, can we do it tomorrow? It's left for the person to either be understanding, be also selfless, because if you expect the person that is restricting to be selfless and then allow you at some point as well, you can also be the one that is selfless and then allow that to slide, because of course joy comes in the morning. If you fight for night, but of course for morning like they say, I don't know if any man is watching me, but every man wakes up, I don't know about you though, but every man wakes up hard. So if it couldn't happen at night, joy comes in the morning. In the morning you can wake up and then one day you continue from what did not happen yesterday. Till I see you next time, tell me what you think in the comment. Name is George.